Wrap me a cocoon in the middle of the night. Watch as the fireflies circle around lions, tigers, marble stairs. Wait for me, but I'm not going there. No, I'm not going there. I'll awaken from this nightmare. Don't know, my mind can dream like that. Hey, 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 hey. Wrap me a cocoon in the middle of the night. Swallows and larks so high in the sky. A badger from nowhere, a castle of queens. Beckon me, but I'm not going there. No, I'm not going there. I'll awaken from this nightmare. Don't know, my mind can dream like that. Hey, 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 hey. Let me curl up tight under the soft moonlight, where stars are just stars, don't come alive. Let me curl up tight under the soft moonlight, where stars are just stars, don't come alive. Wrap me a cocoon in the middle of the night, running through fields with no end in sight. Cars, alleys, a gushing waterfall. Come at me, but I'm not going there. No, I'm not going there. I'll awaken from this nightmare. Don't know, my mind can dream like that. Hey, 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 hey. Let me curl up tight under the soft moonlight, where stars are just stars, don't come alive. Let me curl up tight under the soft moonlight, where stars are just stars, don't come alive. Wrap me a cocoon, wrap me a cocoon, wrap me a cocoon, hey, hey, hey. So, hang on one second while I change guitars here for my last song. All right, so this song I'm going to do is called Catch Me If I Fall. Emmy, my partner in crime, who's going to read tonight, one of the features, likes to refer to this as my song that I wrote when, sounds like when Sondheim meets Joni Mitchell. So I don't really know how to put those together, but this is my song called Catch Me If I Fall. Throw away all my fears. Catch me if I fall. I've been hiding far too long, flirting round the edges in my mind. I've walked a long, long road. Rocky paths have been my guide.
shades of red and gold. Paint a new picture, play a leading role. Wake up my senses like a breath of fresh promise you'll be there. Follow my dreams, stretched across the sky. Each day a new star holds me in dark and in light. Circles are bound to break when you lean against the lines. No matter the years it takes to finally arrive, time waits for no one. Dreams can grow cold, so lay down the pieces, lay bare your soul. Follow your dreams, stretched across the sky. Each day a new star holds us in dark and in light.
Beautiful, Linda. Thank you so much. And we're going to have more of Linda's music at the end of the program after our poets.
Great, thanks. I'm looking forward to all the poets.
I know, we're so lucky. So many great people. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. As you know, we can't control every aspect of Zoom, unfortunately. But I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. We have a big crowd still. We have a lot of people here, so I'm happy to see that. And as you know, we've been growing every week for the most part, so that's really a great thing to see. Yesterday we had James Wagner with us, and if you missed it, he was talking about Japanese poetry, which is really interesting, and the way that in Japan a lot of poets collaborate together, traditionally and now as well. And so he has a great opportunity for poets to submit to a collaborative effort, like an anthology that he's putting together. So if you missed that, we have a video that will be put up this week, and you can learn more about the Japanese poetry tradition and also about his opportunity, and maybe submit a poem for that as well. But I always want to start the program with saying thank you to our donors. So I want to go back to that first. Thank you so much to everyone who's been donating. It's been so wonderful seeing so many familiar faces, so many new faces. Every little bit helps us so much in our mission to keep bringing contemporary poets together. Tonight being a perfect example. Everyone's been volunteering with us each week as a poet to be presenting, and we want to really make this a program that lasts so that we can keep doing events like this. So even small donations like $5, $10 goes such a long way and does more than words can say in helping us find a way to show our sponsors, our future sponsors, that this is the kind of programming that people want to attend and want to be a part of. But even if right now it's a hard time, because I know we're all still a little bit struggling getting back on our feet, just by attending our events, you're doing so much, like you are tonight, in supporting us and helping us continue to bring contemporary poetry to the public and sharing unique voices. I love these open mics. Last time went really well, and I was thinking we need to book more of these for sure. And so many people have viewed the video that we put up on YouTube. We have over 150 views, probably more than that by now. It's been about a week since I checked it, but we've been so happy to have so many people joining us. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about our upcoming events. We have some really exciting upcoming events. 2 in the next week. And the first one will be on Friday, July 3rd, so the day before 4th of July. And it's our program Walking with Whitman, which we've been doing for 10 years, usually in person, but now online. And we'll have international poet Octavio Quintanilla with us. And he's going to be talking about the American frontier poetry style that he has. And then we have Wayne Manecki with us. He's a local poet, and everyone's been asking me, when is Wayne going to be performing? So the answer is July 3rd. Please join us for that. And then we have live music by Rory Kelly. She's a young, very talented musician. She was on News Channel 12 recently. So that will be amazing as well. And then, of course, the 4th of July is the next day. But after the 4th of July, we'll have another program on Zoom. It will be Jane's Hill hike with Andrew Rimby. He's a PhD candidate, and he studied all things Whitman as part of his program. And he'll be bringing all of us up on Jane's Hill. If you've never been there before, it's right near the birthplace. And Whitman came to visit the birthplace and went as an adult and see his childhood home. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to go in because the owners of the property weren't there. So he saw the lilacs in the dooryard, which he later referenced in his poetry a few times actually. And then he decided to go up on Jane's Hill, and he had a book with him, and he took some notes about what he saw and the experience of it. And it really bonded him with Long Island, because when he was 4 years old, they moved to Brooklyn. The whole family moved to Brooklyn. And then he sort of became immersed in that culture, which at the time, Brooklyn was very up and coming. His father was a carpenter, and so he was sort of like house flipping. And he was going through, and the family just kept moving. But Whitman became a printer's devil at 11 years old. So he learned how to print newspapers, and was very self-sufficient at an early age. And your formal education at 11 years old was pretty much finished at that time. So he learned that skill, but then he came back to Long Island, and at that time it was completely farmland. And he really started to see that those were his roots. That's where most of his family had come from. And he connects with that in his poetry a lot. So Andrew will be showing us Jane's Hill, which you could also visit maybe at some point. He'll show you the paths up there and this beautiful rock they have that has a plaque on it for Whitman, has a little Whitman poem on it about Paumanok, because that's what women called Long Island. It's the Native American name for Long Island. And then also worth noting, July 4th is the anniversary of the day that Walt Whitman self-published the first edition of Leaves of Grass. And I don't think it's a coincidence. It's Independence Day. He's independently publishing Leaves of Grass. And it's just a nice thing to think about. It's also the country and the idea of democracy is so important to him throughout his life that it has a lot of meaning to him that it's on July 4th. And so our hike will be on July 5th. And I just imagine him, promoting his new book so excitedly, not knowing, how it will turn out, if the people will react to it well, or what the future will be at that point. And of course, we know it turned out very well for him. So definitely join us for that. And one more event I want to mention is Thursday, July 9th. We have a poetry performance workshop with Karen DeMauro. She teaches Broadway actors how to perform and have that stage presence. And she'll be talking about how to find the spirit of the poem. So sometimes we can all fall into that sort of, we deliver everything the same way, every poem the same way, but she talks more about reading the poem and giving it what it needs, and delivering it the way it needs to be delivered. So that'll be another free program, and that should be amazing. She's a really great teacher and actress herself. All right, so we're gonna get started. And so we have our featured poets first, and then we're gonna go through the audience, and if anyone wants to contribute one poem per person, that would be amazing. And of course, we're gonna do this again. So if you'd like to be a featured poet, please send me an email with your bio, and we can start thinking about the future that way. All right. Oh, and my featured poets, could you send me in the chat a website that I can share with everyone? I forgot to ask earlier. Just any website, it could be your Facebook, just so that we can make sure everyone can contact you if they're interested later on. All right, so let me find Mary. Let's see. Mary Makofske, are you here? I think I saw you leave and come back. Oh, I see you, Mary. Okay, good. Oh, Mary, you're muted though. Just unmute yourself.
I did. I got lost, but I came back.
Good. You've returned. And Mary read with us last time we had the open mic, and she was amazing. So I've been very excited for tonight as well. So welcome, Mary. Thank you for being with us again.
Thank you. Thank you for having this. This is great. We need to keep the poetry alive. Okay, I'll start with a really short poem. It's called Religion. She used to say, "My brother says he is an atheist." He used to say, "Why do you say that?" So now she says, "My brother is an atheist," though she has no faith in what he says. And then the next one, my mother had a fox stole, and it was in an alcove right behind the head of my bed. So this is about my mother's fox stole. They died for beauty they could not perceive. Her lovely shoulders, her hair's matching glint. Inside the curtained alcove near my bed, they circled, teeth to tail, with lidless eyes, the sleep I hunted, terrified to catch. My mother soothed, my father brought the light. Shy as a fox, I could not name my fear. Those weeping bodies rising from their lair. Guess I had a lot of nightmares too, Linda. And this one, I guess a lot of people have anxiety now. I guess we all do. A lot of people may be waking up at night, right? This was written a while ago, but it's really appropriate now, I guess. Waking suddenly, 4:16 a.m. A trapdoor opens and I fall, landing on my feet like a cat, alert to the sound of birds, but no birds sing. What tripped the latch? A blade I could not outrun? The eyes of a man at my checkpoint the instant before he explodes? What lies in the now inaccessible attic of sleep, its roof peeled open to stars or storm? Photos of family I can't name. Newspapers bound and limp with rain, beginning to bleed. And when I'm writing now, I'm very conscious of the fact that I might put something in a poem that young people don't understand. They have no idea what I'm talking about. So this is called Museum of Dusty Metaphors. Moonlight turns the yard to a negative. If you remember negatives. If not, it drenches the lawn in whitewash. If you know whitewash. Crickets buzz like the sound of the needle at record's end. If you remember a record's spin. I stand on the running board of night while moonlight starches every tree and blade of grass. If you know trees, grass, moonlight. And this one is actually, I love to be reading this one tonight here because it's a poem not about Whitman, but by Whitman. This is in Whitman's voice. He's a spirit returning, and it was written about the AIDS crisis, but it seems to reverberate now as well. There is an epigraph from Whitman, and there's also a quotation in there, which you might recognize in one of the sections. Open doors of time, open hospital doors, because of course Whitman was a nurse in the Civil War in Washington. And I'm going to read 3 sections. The wound dresser. Who calls me from the grass I know so well to lead me down the streets of Mannahatta as the soil of the grave falls from my shimmering atoms? A chorus of voices raised not in song, but keening, another great rift in the union of soul and body, another fierce war dividing brother from brother. What are these corridors pristine as galleries, these quarantine warnings and cautious attendants? Fearless, I enter the rooms of the dying. I examine the tubes and monitors of anguish. Would you measure a man's pain with dials and needles? Would you bind a man's pulse and breath to a chart? Let me look in his eyes. I will give you the figures. My hand on his cheek will calibrate his fever. 5. My sons and daughters, there is no cure for death, and the only vaccine is love. You must take it into your veins, the live virus. Chants of the flesh, chants of the blood and semen, song of the life thrust, still will I sing you. Comrades and lovers by the thousand, be not disheartened. Affection shall solve the problems of freedom yet. Those who love each other shall become invincible. Keep on, my sinewy voice, my muscled rhythms, as the weary swimmer is washed out on the tide, each one of the drowning tangled in his beard. We must not speak our secret. I am an old man with no answers. 9. No more the world en masse, the view from a distance. As I pass down the aisles of the wounded, they reach out their hands. Infants, young men and women, the gray-haired matriarchs and patriarchs all know me. They know I bring no harm, no accusation. I will tend their scabrous wounds and listen to prayers and curses with equal patience. Theories and creeds burn off in the heat of their dying. May all sermons and parades and exhortations, including my own, now crumble to ashes. And you there, beyond these hospital walls, do not forget those who precede you into death. On earth, there are no civilians. All wear the uniform of flesh. And the last one is one that I always like to end with. Unfortunately, it's still appropriate. I'm treating hate as if it's a country from which one can emigrate. Out of hate's country, her sons grow to men who face all faces with undamaged eyes, wait for each soul to speak its name. They don't know what an old country she's from, how she must translate in her head the grace that rolls from their tongues. The past spins a powerful hex. She hushes pride, spits over her shoulder for luck, as much as what she said or done. Her silence has kept them safe. Some moonless night, she will rip out the words of hate sewn into her coat and bury them deep, where bones all embrace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. That's amazing. Thank you. Beautiful. We definitely needed that tonight. I like that a country that you can emigrate from being, a thing that you can choose or not choose. I think that's a great message for today, especially.
Thank you.
All right. And let me make sure I have the order right. Oh, and up next we have Maggie Bloomfield. I've known Maggie for a few years. We were both in a program called Jumpstart a few years ago, Riverhead. Here we go. Hi, Maggie. And I see her so much these days on Zoom. It's wonderful. All right.
Okay.
All right.
First, I want to say, Mary, that was just gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Caitlin, for inviting me to be part of this event and join all these fine poets and musicians in our Hollywood rectangles. I'm reading tonight a few poems from my new book, Sleepless Nights, which was just published by Finishing Line Press. And there's information in chat if anybody would like to purchase it, which I totally encourage you to do. And this first poem that I'm going to read is called Sex. Crabs mate face to face, claws entwined, eyes filled with the appearance of strong feeling. First, he dances on pointy little claws to lure the mature female onto her back, both having shed their skins at this point. Exposed, vulnerable, they clutch and buck and moan like lovers everywhere, the male peering brainlessly into Madame's eyes with some crustacean impulse of, I love her, or God, I want to pin her. While beneath him, she muses primordially, he's a terrible dancer, but I want to have his children. This poem is also from the book. It's called Mountains. Mountains move me. Even mere stratigraphic ridges, flat-chested imitations of Mount Kilimanjaro. Its perfectly formed peaks and valleys plunging and rising. Riding my mother's lap in early childhood or sitting across from her at the kitchen table, I stared at the graceful crevice just above the buttons of her ubiquitous house dress, where hill met valley. I longed to know what lay beneath, what mysteries lurked in that darkness tunneling away from sunlight. I often gazed out my bedroom window at the Alleghenies looking back at me, modest but solid. Whatever secrets lay in the shadows, I would always feel safe. Thank you. And this next poem is from a little chapbook that was published by local Jams, our James. It's called Trains of Thought. And this poem is called Resurrection for Richard. When the spring came back, it seemed like nothing ever dies. Crocuses crept from mysterious places, daffodils danced, forsythia branches yellow-greened before their burst. Hyacinths raised heads long enough to say hello, then drooped. Robins rebounded from the trip north. Snowbirds rebounded from the trip north. Someone green-lined Main Street to welcome the guests of St. Patrick. I remembered how much I liked cabbage in any form. Pale green fuzz covered ungaraged cars. People sneezed. White blossoms exploded, then blew spring snow along curbs. Christ rose during this season, we are told. It seemed entirely possible you would too. And this poem is called Ice Harvest. Chilled bones ache with each reduced degree. Already summer seems far off. I miss the sunny ocean's balm, yet snow on sand calms, bringing winter dreams of cozy fires, quilts that warm and soothe us. Our thermostat demands control by me. You're always lowering it one more degree. This dance of heat chills our shared domesticity until we laugh. Dear God, the levity is wondrous, softening the brittle winter me, warming you as well, flushing my pallid cheeks, fleshing out the fragile skeleton that holds us. Winter's bluster crackles into edgy conversation. The easy autumn banter freezes into sullen murmurs. Love that blooms in spring and summer drifts to fields of frost. Seasons flow melodically in moody rhythms, temperate and intemperate, Brahms' darkness, Mozart's light. What binds us to each other is a mystery, an unremembered history of passion and pretense, ephemeral as a breeze, soft as the snow that will cover you and me. And this next poem is a new poem. It was inspired by the very, very strange world we're living in currently. It's called, Who is That Masked Man? In some circles, the Lone Ranger was black. Did they ever tell us that? And by the way, he was never alone, but had a Native American always by his side. Tonto, part of the late 1940s chopped liver. It was silly, Kemosabe. You hid the wrong body part. Your lips still seduced and intrigued a whole generation of pre-hormonal children. Did you take off that mask at bedtime? Show Tonto, with whom you surely slept, or was that Silver, the whole enchilada? We have improved the masking art. No cavernous cave of mouth or smile exposed, no hooked or bulbous proboscis revealed, even eyes vaporize when glasses fog. We have perfected the art of disguise, but not of protecting ourselves from our mirrors or our decades of let's pretend. Thank you. And this is just a little tiny short one from Sleepless Nights. Missing children. In the months when you wouldn't talk to me, I learned that blood owns no one, merely passes on. And my last poem is called Non-Binary. In species Papilioglockus, there is an occasional hermaphroditic butterfly, baffling scientists and observers as well. Half male, half female, split midline, like more of us than we used to believe. One wing is golden sunlight, one molten midnight, both fanning out from a complacent core. This bifurcated creature flutters about unconcerned with its own singularity. Even God gets bored with the same old, same old. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie. It's always such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. First time I saw you perform was in Writer's House, and it was amazing with Susan. And I got to sit on a couch, sort of like what we're doing today, right in a house with Karen. And yeah, it's just amazing to see you every time. And always so many new poems. I feel like you have a great way of just expanding upon your work so quickly. Thank you so much, Maggie. We have another person coming in. All right. So, I've been putting the links in the chat. So you can check those out. We have a link or a Facebook and an email for everyone who's performing as a featured poet tonight. And keep putting your wonderful comments in there as well, please. They're great. And everyone should scroll up, everyone who's reading their poetry tonight, because if you scroll up, you can see all the nice comments that you're getting. There's so many good ones in there. All right. So next up, we have Bill Ratner, and he's coming to us from California. And you may recognize his voice. He has a famous voice. He does the movie trailers, very dramatic intros. I was looking at his website earlier. So welcome, Bill. I'm going to give you the spotlight right now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thanks to the Walt Whitman Birthplace Association. And Maggie and Mary, what an honor to read with you guys. Unlike what I do in the morning, reading other people's words, this afternoon I'm going to read my words, 3 poems, all of which were written since the middle of March. First is called Max and Bena's Wedding. To our favorite people, virtual ceremony. At 11:30 a.m. San Antonio, zoomed to Mbeya, Tanzania, where it's 9:30 p.m. for the bride's mother, father, brother, sister, and cousins, frosting cakes, chilling champagne, while the groom's father prepares his toast in Yorkshire, England. For 10 minutes, our screen says, Max and Bena's wedding begins in 00:00. Then on it comes. A masked lady minister, Max and Bena unmasked under a chuppah, he with bristling blonde hair and a sky blue suit, she in satin and charmeuse highlighting her brown face. They kiss, flash their rings, and run at the camera. In San Antonio, a Tanzanian woman toasts, now that we're married to these 2 Jews, we've got to stay together. A grid of thumbnail video faces in Hartford, St. Paul, Boulder, San Fernando, laughing, raising glasses. In Mbeya, a wedding cake flies in. The bride's mother, in a starched white turban and red sequined dress, toasts the bride and groom in Swahili. In Yorkshire, England, the groom's father stands grainy before his iPad camera in an African shirt and British tweeds, and spools out his love and admiration for his son and his new daughter-in-law. Champagne in Baltimore, brie and crackers in Echo Park, all at once, 60 of us or more want to eat the blinding white wedding cake held aloft by the bride's father in Mbeye. Then comes the playlist: Burna Boy, Tiwa Savage, Mano Dibango, Fela Kuti. The screen on my computer explodes with shaking hips and shoulders and waving fingers in solo living rooms, the pinned video function giving each person a dance close-up, and I start to cry. Not a sad cry, a happy cry. My daughter texts me, "Dad, I'm so glad you and I share the same way of processing our feelings. We cry." I watch my wife dance the chimurenga, and I cry some more. Maybe sadness is the roadbed for wedded bliss. A young American man, a young African woman, and all who know them dance and toast in Swahili, in broad Yorkshire English, and I'm still crying. Maybe it's my old stuff. Maybe the old stuff is there for everyone at a wedding. And there's the new stuff, from stiff-brained Washington operatives behind desks who've blamed immigrants for centuries, quiet, determined like zombies. But for now, we engage in ecstatic heel-toe tapping, the accento, the kukere, the shaku-shaku, inside a digital dimension that, unlike a dream, I can see and remember. This next poem is called Police Procedural. 1. A sober-jawed cop with a monosyllabic name, Blink or Saw or Crimp or maybe Bunk. Yeah, Bunk. Bunk points his semi-automatic at the front door of a drab, clapboard house. Reflection on his shades divides his face like a playing card. In pastel silks and toreador pants, a middle-aged woman named Rita Tedesco explodes out the front door shouting, "What if I did swing that frying pan at my cheating boyfriend's neck?" Bunk cuffs her and tosses her in the back of a squad car like a sack of turnips. Forensics dusts her peeled paint door for prints. Police cameras click like the stuttering of crows. Lit by a blazing tangerine sunset, downtown LA squats like an oversized snap toy. 2. Photo of a corpse covered in bruises, stark costume of blood. "How'd Rita Tedesco's autopsy go?" "Involuntary cardiac arrest," coroner says. Bunk tosses his cell phone on the desk. Notes scatter like dandruff. "The perp had a weapon in her waistband." "It was a detangling brush, Bunk." Bunk's brows knit in startled curiosity. "Well, not to mention that handful of jewels." "That was the sun glinting off a glob of hand sanitizer, Bunk." 3. Bunk to camera. The politics of policing. Messier than a cold bowl of rattlesnake chili. I play each scene with my jaws. I act with my face. Eyes 1,000 ways down. Celtic nose. Nighttime glum. Cops watch my show. The mayor. The whole darn country. Same time, same couch. Like muscle memory. Show gets renewed. Season after season. Same way politicians and toilet cleansers get sold. The magic of TV. Thank God for Narcan. 4. Needle clicks at the end of a slow jazz record. Bunk sets his empty glass on a night table, closes the lights, stares at his reflection in a plate glass window. Every day, blood on concrete, brains gaping, windpipes crushed. I'm just doing my job. That guy who croaked on the asphalt, who knew a knee was a lethal weapon? What should we do in 9 minutes? Use our charm? He ambles toward the skyline. I love this city. I just know what it is. Fade to black. The last poem is called Quarantine Ride. A limo. I want a limo for this. so I can stand up and stick my head out the sunroof and sniff the pollen and sneeze, smell cheeseburgers and kimchi, deep-fried Snickers and runner's sweat, the black rich rubber on racing bikes, fried catfish and brine all in the air. I'll breathe, tap my lips, massage my jaws, ball up my large hand and thump my thymus, leave the slog of dreams behind, and levitate like a pudgy bodhisattva rising over his cushion. I will take vitamin C, maybe a whole gram a day. I'll ignore the glossy black funerary decorations, the placards of grief. I will float like a sudden blown kite, shaking my careful tail so high I'll see yogis performing asanas on the mountaintop. I'll hear the sounds of drums and whistles, grateful cries from the windows. I won't be able to sleep. I'll test my fear, finger the air, float back and forth in a sky blue sack like a Malibu seal. Sirens will go off in the desert for a sale at Walmart. I'll buy Dexatrim and apple-scented room fresheners. I'll watch demos of shiny blenders, knife sets, and Japanese bourbon. I'll grab free paper cups of cheddar cubes and soy drinks. I'll go take in the poppies. I'll park right by sidewalks full of people in shorts and smiles with quesadillas and little kids. I want all this in one huge breath, a vista of life and population, laughs echoing through the crowd, a living urbanity. Driver, don't drop me off yet. Just go around one more time, one more breath before sunset. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bill. That was amazing. Really wonderful. I'm so glad that you found us all the way from LA. And you have a new book coming out sometime in the future, right? You were emailing me about it.
Maggie just said Finishing Line Press. I got an email on Tuesday night that my chapbook is coming out. I'm so thrilled. Congratulations, Maggie, and thank you, Finishing Line.
Congratulations.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy to have you with us tonight. Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna come back. All right. It's always so much fun too, because we get so many different narratives from so many different people. It's a great mix. Okay, so next up we have Emily Sue Sloane. She's going to be reading with us. There you are, Emily. And I'm going to give you the spotlight. There we go. And you just have to unmute.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Caitlin. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. Hope you're enjoying all this great music and poetry. So I'm going to start with a Long Island poem, since I'm from here. It's called Prime Real Estate. Before anyone carves up the moon and sells it to the highest bidder for condo-ringed golf courses, fake palms, and wrought iron gates, tell me, please, will it be the bright one I see poking through the branches of the majestic maples in my backyard when I draw the shades before turning in for the night? Or the huge orange one surprising drivers rushing toward the Jericho Turnpike horizon? As that moon rises, the contours of a face emerge, happy just to be there. Like Humpty before his famous fall? I hope they don't choose the one lighting up the Long Island Sound on warm summer nights when fishing boats sidle up to the dock to unload weary passengers clutching their catch of the day, poles, and tackle boxes perhaps lined with empties. Or the thin crescent of light that floats effortlessly in a crisp, dark sky after the first snowfall before the plows arrive. The moon draws the tides into a dance with life itself. So no, my moons over Long Island are not for sale. Okay, this next one is about my grandmother. Can
you go louder?
I'm sorry. Okay. I have a very vivid image of my grandmother, and this one is called The Baker. Nanny's cigarette hung from her lips, a lengthening ash that never seemed to fall, as she sifted and sprinkled flour, folded in the butter, beat the eggs, kneaded and rolled the dough to a consistency her hands recognized as right for blintzes, cakes, and pies, pinched and prodded into pockets, stuffed with farmer cheese and fruit, or layered and dressed for the occasion with icing and whipped cream. One eye closed against the curling smoke, she unfurled her stories, told in cadences practiced and perfected over a lifetime. The details have now faded, like the recipes my mother wrote down. A pinch of this, a dollop of that. Left out the tears, the laughter, the tobacco ash. So dreaming seems to be a little bit of a theme tonight, so I'm going to add mine called Dreamscape. A dream loses its sharp edges as sleep recedes into morning. Images hang mote-like in the sunlight, a jigsaw puzzle undone. Granite Gothic fortress, inner courtyard, bare trellis, moss-covered benches, abandoned garden. Strangers speak in a language familiar to my ear, foreign to my tongue. I have dreamt this place before, search my waking past for a clue. This well of wondering offers no echo, no comforting splash of recognition. The dream drifts out of the room, its lingering scent unsettles my day. And with this one, I will tip my hat to Gay Pride, which in better times, many of us would be marching this Sunday in New York City. It's not complicated, a love poem. My love, once airy and light, has grown roots and a full crown of leafy branches over a great many seasons. We brace each other when lashing winds would topple us and drenching rains muddle our footing. We hold up a mirror to remind us who we are, alone and together. We trace the lines back to our younger passion, a time when we could not, no, would not, turn away as the world would have had us do. Anyone who really looks can see the us that love has forged. And this one is called Night Sky. I watched the rings of Saturn nearly touch the moon last night as the sky grew dark and cold. Curtain clouds had parted to reveal glowing lights traveling through galaxies, indifferent to our notice. The planets asked the stars to waltz to a tune I could barely imagine. I've watched strangers come that close on crowded city streets, unaware their orbits touching. This was no Arizona sky where stars crowd onto a limitless stage. No, New York nights, sparse by comparison. Lights on the ground, inverse to the heavens. But even so, the astronomer on the radio had told an unseen audience where to look, what we'd see, the awe he kept to himself. I watched the rings of Saturn nearly touch the moon last night. As the Milky Way took a bow, applause rang out across the eons. I notice when I go through my poems that birds often fly into them, almost regardless of subject matter, whether it be politics or constitutional crises. So here's an example. I call this Tattered Nation. Yesterday, I heard a hawk's warning call high and to my left, but couldn't spot the feathered Paul Revere cloaked in winter's barest camouflage. The ground tilted, nowhere to park my grief at the unraveling. Anyway, what did I think the life expectancy would be of fabric woven from ideals and solemn oaths? Today, I see the trees still hug the sky. I hear the crows call out coordinates for their next meeting. Cold grips my gloved hands. The smell of snow is in the air. All of that's normal on the cusp of February. Still, I can't deny the taste of fear rising against tomorrow. Now, little did I know when I wrote that one that we'd be in a pandemic a month later. And much of my writing, like most of you, these past few months has centered on the lockdown and this whole very bizarre experience. So I've included one or two pertaining to that. And this is a brand new one. It's called A Sunday Morning Hike Imagined During Quarantine. I walk a rocky brown path beneath towering oaks and maples. A stand of birch trees reminds me to look, really look. A painter's brush strokes white against black vertical lines in a dark green canopy. The only sounds an occasional squirrel sifting through the forest debris, and my panting breath and scuffling feet. I make my way up the hillside, careful to march my feet over roots that hold a stronger claim to the path than mine. At the top, I stop to let my heart and lungs reset. Human chatter rises and fades as other hikers pass with a nod and a wave. The view, worthy of Sarat's hand, the sounds, sparkling waves dotted with boats and birds, a green hillside on the opposite shore, decorated with houses, stately and simple. A white church spire reaches for the clear blue sky, its twin refracted on the water below. All that's missing are picnickers in bustles and top hats. I inhale the familiar Long Island summer, free of masks, free of worry about walking in another person's wake. And I will close with one about risk and watching people who are bolder than we are taking risks. It's called Thrill Seeker. The one who walks a tightrope across canyons invites the specter in for tea and conversation. His balancing pole, arcing toward ground, etches the line between fate and faith, living and leaving. His quick, delicate steps bounce the wire in an improvised mid-air ballet performed joyfully on the crescendo of silent prayer. Thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you so much, Emily Sue. And I love that there's so many animals coming into poems today. We had the fornicating crabs earlier, and we had crows with coordinates. It's amazing. And that Trott poem was also really great. It really paints the picture, you know, the pointillism, and beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us. All right, so next up we have R Turek, and she was our Long Island Poet of the Year last year. And she loves wearing purple. You'll never see her without her purple somewhere. It could be her nails. Always a beautiful color. All right, there we go, JR. And just make sure you're unmuted.
Okay. So thank you, other readers. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Walt Whitman. And wow, I look at the list of participants. How great. Thank you for coming. So this evening, no pandemic poems. I've got a boatload of those, but I am stepping away from those. I'm actually celebrating my newest book, Midnight on the Eve of Never. And I've chosen a few poems from here. And I'm going to end with one I wrote today. Okay. The Mantle of Midnight. Violet cape descends like the magician's wand over a trusting assistant who's not afraid to be sawn in half. It's all about the show. Violet deepens to an amethyst shawl as it falls in soft folds, blankets cumulus clouds, encourages stars to show off, shine on. Indigo rises from the horizon like an ink spot spreading across the firmament, a curtain, a gloaming, a chasm between worlds. Ebony velvet shrouds the dazzle of day, halos the moon, gives a backdrop of stars to twinkle on, a breath between day and night. Like magic, day dies, twilight dims, a mystical veil between today and tomorrow, the mantle of midnight. Thank you. Word. I use you for your liquid locution as you slip through my lips, your buxom shape filling cheeks with your release. I plump a poetic page with your bright passion. Word. You're the perfect silhouette, balanced with vowels and consonants, runway line with your designer syntax, crowd-pleasing cure for dull survival in a world dying of epidemic monotony, in a poem crying out for more. I couple you with expectant assonance, neighbor you with electrified metaphorics, unmodified word, you shine. No need for dialectic, diacritic intervention, no jargon, no slang, no lingo. You are the one I want. I choose you from a lexicon of transitives, your vibrant precision, your vivid concision, your voice in my mouth. I taste you, say you again and again, and wonder, after all, if you're the one I need. I have a love for poetry, obviously, passion. And yes, they are purple. Figured I'd prove it. A lot of Ars Poetica. So, this is called composition. I write haiku on gum wrappers. I write poetry on the inside of cereal boxes. I write my stories between the lines of trashy novels. I write cliches on my slipper soles. I write greeting cards on the Chinese food menu. I write political editorials between dictionary lines, upside down. I write your name in coffee steam. I write slick poetry prompts on the Target ad. I write my eulogy over every day and pray it's premature. I write one-act plays in the voting booth. I write love letters to corporate conglomerates. I write comic monologues while sitting in the dentist's chair. I write I love you in beach sand. I write algebraic formulas in acrostic formation. I write my name in purple permanent marker on your heart. Halo. Your words are a shelter for angels who congregate at the altar of your lips, feathered wings bowed in supplication. They choir your praises to heaven. Your clasped hands are a cathedral of sanctuary, signing a cross of perpetual grace for flocks of seraphic messengers. Your whispered song, an incantation of veneration, your tabernacled heart, an adoration of consecration, your steepled truth, a devotion of disciples, your bended knee, a communion to pray, your sermon smile guides angels to shelter inside your virtuous words. Thank you. And the last from the book takes a different turn. Dear Senior Life Poet, I am in receipt of your manuscript entitled Knockwood High School Years. I will say it's an intriguing collection of poems unlike anything Senior Life has ever received in its 50-year history. I am wondering how much truth is contained in such lines as, everyone here does drugs and has sex, but your reputation depends on how well you hide it. And I wish school was as easy as the girls in it. And did you really paint an S before and up after exit on all the signs in school? And tell me true whether it is anatomically possible for the positioning described on page 81. I am sorry to say Senior Life is unable to publish your book, and not due to your age. It must be delightful to be 17. I am 70 and have trouble remembering my birth date. May I suggest you obtain a copy of our magazine? Perhaps you'll subscribe. Perhaps your grandparents already do, as our content is devoted to senior citizens, not seniors in high school. Thank you most gratefully for submitting. I will not be returning your manuscript as I am studying every page. Still wondering about page 81, I remain sincerely yours, the editor, Senior Life.
Thank you so much. Oh, you have more?
I have one more, if I may.
Go ahead, yes. No, please.
You know, well, it's not such a common question, I guess, now, but, you know, like, what are you doing? What are you doing over the weekend? This is what I'm doing over this weekend. In 24 hours, tomorrow, just a day away, I will challenge myself and my muse, his name is Harry, to do what we've never done, to try to climb an internal mountain, scale a wall inside chambers of my heart, ride a roller coaster through my body, and emerge 24 hours later, unscathed, buoyant, and proud that we overcame doubts, refused fears, and pursued a sense of success so personal, so real, so important to me and Harry. Tomorrow, we will begin our journey 9 a.m., hour 1 of 24, and write a poem, any length, any subject, form, genre, style, manifestation that inscribes itself on our page. Hour 2, at 10 a.m., we will do the same and continue through Saturday, past midnight to 9 a.m. on Sunday, hour 24, when I will have composed 24 new poems. On the honor system, we will post new poems, new progeny birthed within this miraculous day. Harry and I are honorable. I love a challenge. Face it eye to eye, embark on a journey of self-discovery, learning lessons from the quest. I'm not fearful of deadlines or testing myself. I've written a poem a day for over 16 years, an invitation presented new each day. So to taunt time, scrunch 24 days into one, whittle down to 1 hour, is a perfect self-dare. Tomorrow begins a marathon of heart, mind, soul, computer, Harry, me, stretching, reaching, working mental muscles to reach the finish line, prompts provided if I need them, support from friends always on my sidelines, no worry about one night of lost sleep. It's happened before without prompting, and besides, sleep is overrated. 2020 Poetry Marathon, just a day away, just a gauntlet I toss myself, just something I need to do, like a runner chasing a dream, a swimmer racing a time clock, a student mastering their thesis, a chance to tell myself, yes, you can. Tomorrow, I begin. Tomorrow, just one sleep cycle away from victory. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. That senior poem is too funny. I think I'll be thinking about that one for a while. I saw everybody laughing. Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to have you. All right. So I think that our last featured poet is not here, but I just want to double check. Kristen McLaughlin, if you're here, just turn on your camera or maybe type in the chat. All right. I think she's missing out, but maybe next time we can have her join us. So I want to have everyone unmute for a moment and just give a big round of applause for our featured poets and for Linda and her wonderful music. All right. Such fun events. And then for everyone in our audience, if you'd like to read one of your poems, I think the best way of doing it is having you type in the chat and then I'll announce you and you can unmute. But I'm just going to remind everyone to mute again just so we can hear our audience poets. And then once we're finished with our poetry, we'll have Linda again, so don't forget for that. All right, so I have Marna Schoenwald. And if you turn your mic on, Marna, I think I'll be able to find you a little easier.
Here, I have a yellow background.
Okay, that helps. The good problem we're having, there's just so many people. There it goes. Okay. Hi, Marna. Good to see you.
Hi. Okay, I'm fairly new to this. I would like to just read one short poem. I need to turn on a light.
Can you see? Do I need to turn on the light?
Too bright, but okay. The title is still uncertain, but I'm calling it right now. Wait, what? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yes.
I want to hold you, my friends. I want to caress your faces and pat gentle circles on your back. COVID has stolen that human contact. It has ripped away and created a void. A magic carpet I did not know I had gone so suddenly. Do virtual hugs ever feel good? I want to hold you and smell you. Words have become even more important, but words are not a hug. And phone conversations used to conclude with bye, talk soon, see ya. Now they all end with I love you, and I love you too. The unspoken meaning, I want you to live. I want to live. I want to be able to embrace you again.
Thank you so much, Marna, and thank you for being our brave first poet. Always
A little
appreciate
scary.
it. No, wonderful though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And getting a lot of people, so I lost my spot. 1 second. Okay. So now we're going to go to Rusty Rose. And Rusty, if you unmute, I can find you, hopefully.
Okay,
There you are. Good.
Okay, I was listening to Emily when she was reading about pride, so I decided to read a poem. Tomorrow is the 51st anniversary of Stonewall. And after that, that's gay pride. And after that, the riot happened, many different clubs popped up. especially on Long Island. And one was in Lindenhurst. So I'm going to read what life was like then. And this will take you right inside the bar, and it's called South Broom. It is Monday, 10 p.m. I sit on a black wooden stool in a lesbian bar far away from the nuances and predictabilities of the heterosexual world. I am thinking about us when times were happier. Our passions are now quashed, but I continue to think. My thoughts keep flashing like a constant pressure upon a shutter, a long playing record stuck in a groove. They keep skipping and droning. Do you remember when? I wash down these images with cola. Some taste sugary, some are bubbly, and some sting the delicate lining of my throat. Love is oft like that, sweet when it is found, sour as when it's gone bad, bitter as when it's lost. My visions of you dissipate. The Indigo Girls blare from a jukebox. They are singing, "There is life down below me." I think about the verse as pooled sticks and stools are pushed aside, and couples are hurrying to the already crowded dance floor. A stone butch in a green and white striped shirt saunters towards me, gently stretching her hand in my direction. She is the reminder of why I am so proud to be the dyke that I am. She is proof love exists. Love, when it finds me, will take me home. It is Monday, 10 p.m. I sit on a black wooden stool.
Thank you, Rusty. It's always such a pleasure. We had you with us for Stonewall last year in person, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, that was amazing too. And yes, thank you for the reminder. I've been thinking about our post for Pride Month. Been thinking too long. It's already almost over June, so I got to get a post on Facebook for Whitman.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, and then next up we have Sandi Leibowitz. If you could unmute your mic.
Got it.
All right.
Ready?
The first person. Hold on one second, Sandi. Just want to make sure.
I've got the teal and the bookcase behind me.
Oh, okay, got you. That's
okay.
That helps. It's a little weird.
I know. So
All right.
this is new. It's called Dandelions. My ex's favorite flowers. He didn't care that they were weeds. Didn't see why they should be routed from suburban lawns, listed public enemy #1. I'm a lover of irises, lilies, daffodils, lilies of the garden with good posture and ruffled silk skirts. When denied rain, they pout and sometimes swoon. Dandelions are grinning gaimans, eternally optimistic, no matter how many battles they have to fight. How they dig in, like slum kids who finally made it, like my ex, an orphan who'd emerged from group homes a success, owner of a house with no keep off the grass signs for the dandelions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sandi.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So next up we have Jennifer Wenn. And just talk to me, Jennifer, and I'll
I'm in an easy chair with a lot of books behind me.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. I found you.
There we go.
Hello.
Yes, coming to you from London, Ontario, Canada.
Oh.
I am a transgender woman, which isn't the easiest road to walk sometimes. And this poem was written a couple of years ago, the day before a Transgender Day of Remembrance commemoration at which I was MC and stage manager and had a few remarks. Following a series of some tragic, some distressing events. and it's called Transgender Anthem. Since time immemorial, revealed or hidden, self-aware or suppressed, we have been here. Through pain, confusion, and joy, tearing at contrary, shrouding shells, we have been here. We follow paths indescribable and incredible, yearning to shine forth our extraordinary iridescence, and we are here. We are the convention shakers, mold breakers, trailblazers, and we are here. We are not an illness or a theory or a debating point. We are flesh and blood, marvelous souls and children of the cosmos, and we are here. We are dismissed by the ignorant, stared at by the fear blind, assailed because we dare to disturb comfortable prejudices, but we are here. We are scared yet courageous, despised yet loved, weary yet striding on, and we are here. We are children and parents, siblings and spouses, friends and lovers, colleagues and neighbors, poor and well off, and we are here. Hatred fells some of us, but we remain unshakable, unbreakable, bright, blazing beacons of a new rediscovered spirit, and we absolutely, emphatically, now and forever will be here. Thank you.
Beautiful, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us from Canada. Amazing.
Thank you.
Glad that you found us.
Yes, I was down there a couple of years ago.
Oh, wonderful. You'll have to come for a visit again one day.
For the pandemic.
Yes, when we're able to travel, definitely. Right. It's wonderful for Pride Month, especially with women. It's great to celebrate that too.
Mm.
Absolutely. And you were talking about the cosmos, Jennifer, and that's, Whitman definitely talked about that a lot too. We're made from the same stuff as stars. Love
Absolutely. That. Major inspiration.
Good, good. All right, so next up we have Nina Lewis. And same thing, Nina.
So I've got bad 70s curtains in the background. And I'm on a black leather chair. I don't know if that helps.
Nina, we were talking the other day, you're from the UK.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, where it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, hence my voice. So this one is based on a museum that's, an artifact from a museum that I live locally to. So it's from the Worcester Porcelain Museum. It's called the Unfading Cornflower. The widow drinks tea every morning, lips balanced against cornflower blues, applied in wreaths around the top. The gold base, kiss clinking, breaks the silence of her bedroom. She has always admired the porcelain's honeycomb piercing, pollen-free and as golden as bees, as the summers she almost remembers. The flowers on the saucer spread, keep hold of the cup as she reaches for the bedside table. Cornflowers grew like weeds, were braided by children hiding from conflict in wheat fields. Centaura cyanus wakes her dust eyes from sleep, wraps around the nest of Lady Grey, hides, an unknown blend in her tea, provides the myth of daily bread beyond this island. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nina. And you have to visit us too, for sure.
Sure, after it's all over, we can go back on planes and things for definite.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
With us. Thank you. And I'll be sending you that video. She was asking me about the James Wagner opportunity too. And that'll be great for James from the UK. It's nice to have a international anthology. Okay, next up we have Julie Dolan. Julie, if you could unmute, Julie, that'll help.
West wall with the open waving.
Okay, hold on. Not yet.
There's an open space and a rust colored wall.
Oh, I found you. There we go. All right.
Hi. I'm here because I'm friends with Linda and Emmy Sue. I'm up in Vermont, and I'm just, a friend asked me to read my poem somewhere, so I'm gonna read it here. I hadn't written all the past 3 months and got inspired last Friday from a quote by Toni Morrison, who said that we need to write when things are bad. So, okay. I sit in my garden, my privilege, paralyzed by the heaviness of human history, the cruelty inherent in claiming place. To stolen land my ancestors came, seeking freedom by choice. What right do I have to call this sacred space mine? I sit in my garden, my privilege, paralyzed by the heaviness of human history, the cruelty inherent in claiming place. To stolen land, your ancestors came in bondage, no choice. You slaved to build this nation as so my ancestors could come by choice, seeking freedom. And all you ever asked was to sit in your garden with every right to call this sacred place yours. We sit in our gardens on stolen lands, the history of humans. We seek greener pastures to claim, to raise our families, spread our seed, forgetting to ask for permission to share this sacred place. Thank you.
Beautiful, Julie. Thank you so much. It's so nice to have you from Vermont. Have you been out to visit us?
I'm from Queens, so.
Oh, originally, okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful, great. Yeah, now you're with Bernie Sanders up there in Vermont.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, next we have Linda Trott Dickman, who works with us at the birthplace actually, and then she shared her poetry during the last open mic, and it was amazing. I had no idea that she was a poet actually until that open mic. Linda, I'm looking for you. Let's see.
I'm wearing a bright blue.
All right, hold on.
There's peacocks behind me and
oh, I got you. There
okay.
We go. All right, there you go. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
You're a little blurry, but
yeah, I don't know why nothing's changed. So I don't get it, but I will read.
Great. So no worries.
At the intersection of Bread and Cheese and Gun Club roads. It was seconds on the road. The gray ribbon coiled from here to there, from there to beyond. The coppery carpet stole my breath, itself breathing calm. The spirit falling heavily. Fingers of pine sweeping to and fro. Welcome, welcome. It was seconds on the road. The gray ribbon twined from here to there, from there to beyond. An oasis I still carry. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Linda.
You're welcome.
Kind of a neat effect that you have going on there. It works with the poetry too.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Slow-mo. Someone's saying there might be a button that got pushed maybe on your Zoom settings.
I didn't push anything, but that's okay.
We'll figure it out. But
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us again.
You're welcome.
All right, and we have Nina Yavel next. And Nina, same thing. Talk to me and guide me.
Okay. I have a shock of white hair that's growing faster and faster, right at the top of the screen, looking like a wild woman from the 70s. Haven't had a haircut in about 3 months. So it's been wonderful. Thank you, Caitlin. Everybody's so good. I'm just going to read a poem. It's kind of Pride Week, Pride Month. So I'm going to talk about one of my exes. How's that? I hit 77 a couple of days ago. So that's, you know, a long, long life. Anyway, this is called Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap. The woman I love draws trees, draws their limbs, sketches their thighs, their breasts, circles their bodies. She draws them in her silence with the kiss of her pen, gracefully and gently, traces the muscles, their long necks. The woman I love draws trees, draws me into life, circles my heart with her hands, loves me into the light. She draws me in her silence, in her laughter she creates me. With her hands she traces my body, my limbs, my thighs, circles my breasts. The woman I love draws trees, draws the hollow buds, the stems of awakening.
Beautiful, Nia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So great to have you with us and continuing this LGBTQ plus event. Totally unplanned improv. Great theme. Thank you so much. All right, and next we're going to go to Scudder Parker. And Scudder, I need some waving. Or
I'm in orange.
Okay, I got you. Oh, right,
And
shared account.
I'm sitting here with my wife, Susan Sussman, who is Linda Sussman's sister. And so Linda and Emmy Sue are both my sisters-in-law. So and also I'm from Vermont, so that makes two of us. And it feels right nearby given how far away some of the folks who've read tonight are. And I'm reading the first poem from a book that just came out of poetry that I've written over my lifetime. And this is called The Poem of the World. The poem of the world reveals itself like a doe's hoof tapping ice till she can drink. Startles like the rust of purple on this fall's forsythia leaves, though it may have used that small voice every year unheard. Blinks like red and blue potatoes dug this morning, drying in the sun, testing their startled, untrained eyes. It's the unexpected tickle, the fit of shared laughter in our urgency of touching that becomes another way of making love. It's an ocean beach of pebbles that suddenly starts singing, each stone its own tink, together a glorious, indifferent song. And it's the voice of each bird I have only heard as morning chorus, landing with its own song and bright, perfect body in my brain. It is even, now I begin to see them, the subtraction of the birds, taking summer with them, too busy to announce their leaving. The poem of the world wants me to wake in my own body. It is astonished I might let these supple bones grow brittle. It is the sudden thing I trust. Thank you, and thank you for letting us visit since we can't be there in person down on the island.
Thank you, Scudder. Amazing. It's so nice. We have so much Vermont and also the nice family connection too. Wonderful poem, and thank you for sharing. All right. Let's see. Next up, we have Margaret Wahl.
I have a pink phone in my hand.
All right. Let me see. Oh, I gotcha. There we go.
Hi, everybody. It's been great to hear all of you read tonight. I'm going to read a poem that was inspired when Juan Felipe Herrera read here. It's called A Poem of Change Made from Our Actions. Juan Felipe Herrera, who was the first United States Poet Laureate that was Latino. We are all burning, frying against walls, black versus white, brown in the middle, police against civilians. We are almost living, all almost dying. I embrace differences, a neutral zone, a xenophile, an invitation for all, where poems are read with foreign tongues and then in English. I accept protested opinions, but not the angriness of riots. They loot, steal from the hard workings of small business owners. Let's remember there are lives who serve and protect us. One's mistake shouldn't be a reflection on us all. We need to create new circles with new innovative ideas. Together, build new co-ops, places to generate an imagination, a new generation, a space where everything is a poem. Inspirationology is everywhere. Poets, people with good hearts to give away and share. Tomorrow can be our new poem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. And that's amazing that Juan was the influence for that, Margaret. And he would be so happy to hear that. You know, he was just such a wonderful presence. And
He really was. Yeah, he really was. Thank you
for joining us for that and for this. Thank you. All right. Let's see. And next up we have Sheri. But Sheri, I don't know your last name, but I also want to tell everyone we're recording this and it will be a YouTube video. So if you have any like specific way you want your name presented that's different from your Zoom and you're reading with us tonight, just let me know so that I put it in a searchable way on YouTube so you can always find your own video or other people who are looking up poetry readings. All right, Sheri, I'm looking for you. Oh,
I'm in pink. Hi, I'm outside.
Hello, Sheri.
And my name goes by Sheri Lynn.
Sheri Lynn. And is it L-Y?
An N.
An N, okay. Thanks. Perfect.
So I wrote this with a few things in mind, including pride. As well as much else, as you'll see. It's called Butterflies. My oral nest reminds of safety's retreat, where inspiration calls through tones, lyrics, beats, score. To be more than just me sitting here, you there, gazing out windows toward a sea's expanse, willing us to plunge into heart whisper froth. With the kind of insights that heal, petition, urge toward unity's grace, lifting you, me, us, they. Will souls harmonize radiant beacons from behind presaged veils to be seen, genuine, bright butterfly wings thunderous as sunbursts? When, then maybe today, we may thrive, bloom in peace. You, me, us, they, on our planet of angst-held hope, flowing upon waves, smoothing the sand, greeting exotic, shared shores, illuminating this evolution chance. Deep harbor diaphones call. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Sheri.
Thank you.
And I'm going to do a last call. I have 2 more people on the list, but if anyone else wants to share tonight, please type in the chat right now. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, so next we have Sheila. And Sheila, you'll have to tell me.
Okay, I'm wearing a black top. I'm waving.
Okay.
You see me? Blonde hair. I have a beige background.
I found you. Perfect. Okay. And Sheila, what last name for your poetry would you like us?
It's Hoffenberg.
All right, and can you spell it?
Sure. H-O-F-F as in Frank.
Mm-hmm.
E-N as in Nancy. B as in boy. E-R-G as in George.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Sheila.
Okay. I've got a bunch of poems published already. This one I wrote during the pandemic, or at the start of it. It's called Hope, Trust, and Understanding of a Broken World. Light shines amongst the darkness, its glow penetrating through the clouds. Can you see it? Can you get a glimpse of hope? Positivity, a future that will get back on its feet. It may look different, but yet it's the same. Stronger emotions will follow the course. I see the rainbow, its meaning starting to be clear. This setback will disappear and strength will foresee a new world better than before. It will never destroy us, this poison that came upon our lives with such force and confusion, with sickness and death. No, this will end with results of a new beginning, a new way to immerse in shadows that appear as we look up at God's sky and wonder why so much hurt has unfolded into the universe. Yes, there is light at the end of this tunnel. We will wait and victory will rise up again. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sheila.
Thank you.
And then next up we have Kathaleen Donnelly.
Hi.
If I missed anyone, please let me know in the chat. I don't want to skip over anyone. We're doing pretty well on time. And I found you, Kathleen. Perfect.
Caitlin, you are fantastic as Mistress of Ceremonies.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
Thank you so much.
So, you know, there's so much going on in the news, and this poem is inspired by the Mexican people in Central America, South America, trying to come up and find a peaceful place to live and make a living. And you know, we treat them as if they're less than people. Not all of us, of course, but this poem is called Intuitive. It was in his voice, not the walk that took on that of a laborer, pulling the plow, planting his seed, nor his expression that appeared lost and out of place, like a pup without its mother, or a child who watches its father turn the bend. His face said nothing remarkable. Hair didn't curl, eyes with no particular color that didn't seem to blink. His form rounded in the middle, left a shirt hard to tuck. It was when he spoke, a soft velvet deepness, as if singing a song, slow, careful words about his feelings, what it meant to be in love. The appreciation of her body, her curves, the softness of her skin, how it caused him to linger. He didn't know her name. They had never met. Perhaps he was afraid to do more than look. But he perceived a wanting, a longing from across the room, and somehow knew one day they would touch.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Kathleen.
Thank you.
And did I miss anyone? Let's see, I'm just making sure through the chat. Wonderful. Oh, okay, so I feel like we touched upon so many great topics tonight, and we had a very diverse group, so that's amazing. That's exactly what we want, is we want to hear all these different narratives from all these different people. What I want to do right now is everyone unmute your mic, and let's give a big round of applause to our audience. We had such a great group tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Thank
Doing
you.
great as usual.
Great job, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, Caitlin.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Very cool. Coming up in just a moment, but before we start the music again, I just want to make sure that everyone has a chance to get the links out of the chat. And poets that contributed from our audience, you can also put your links in the chat so that people can find a way to connect with you. And I'm going to put that right back in now. And thank you so much for joining us. It's such a joy to have all these people with us. I put in the link for donating, so if you have any interest in doing that, again, $5 means more to us than words can say, really. So any amount is so appreciated. But even just for being here tonight, like you are, that means so much to us too, really. This was a great big group tonight. We had 50 people, which is
wow.
Most of our events, actually.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, make a donation.
Oh, I hear Iris talking, and Iris is one of our tour guides. Iris, I think you were going to read today, no?
I know, but after I heard everybody's poetry, I'm like, nah, I'll do it the next time because I don't think I could fit in with everybody. I was so impressed by what everybody said today and read today, and it was wonderful. And I felt like an amateur, so I didn't read. I did write a poem, Caitlin, so maybe I'll do it the next time.
Okay, I'll hear it first and I'll give you some feedback.
Okay, yes, do that, okay?
That sounds good.
And please, everybody, really donate, because we really need the funding right now, because as you know, the state is like bankrupt and we're not getting any funding where we usually get. And we really want to keep our doors opened, and we love having you guys come and visit us at Walt Whitman. And we really need to depend on all of you wonderful people who are out there right now. And, you know, I watch PBS, I watch the fundraising on Channel 13, and I go, oh, how boring. They're showing these great programs and they're trying to get us to send in money. But now I'm one of those people. So really, me and Caitlin, all of us, we really appreciate any donations you could make.
I don't know where it is.
And that reminds me, I also want to add, we're looking to open just the lawn of the birthplace. We're crossing our fingers for July 15th. And then you can visit and you can see the outside of the birthplace, the home that Walt Whitman's father built, that Walt Whitman was born in 201 years ago. His birthday was May 31st. So we just recently celebrated. We celebrated through Zoom events, actually, which came out really nice. And again, it's so nice we get international presence for these events.
Really?
So absolutely remember to join us for those other events, especially the Janes Hill one. I'm looking forward to it so much. It's so nice to have an outdoor event online. And then you can always explore Janes Hill yourself in the future. All right, thank you so much. And we're gonna go
Thank
back.
you. Thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
Again. All right, Linda, I'm gonna find you again.
I just muted myself.
There we are. And thank you so much, Linda, for the music. It really adds something special to these readings.
My pleasure. It's been a wonderful night.
It's great to have original music, you know, and hearing it, and your songs are beautiful. So we
Thank
really
you, Iris.
appreciate it.
Thank you. So those three that I did at the top of the night are all unrecorded before pre-pandemic. I was hoping to get back into the studio to record those, but that didn't happen. And this next one also is unrecorded. And I'm going to, I just put this in here just now, just decided to carry on what Kathaleen was saying, just about what's going on with immigration. But also, happy Pride, everyone. Yes, Emmy Sue and I have been together for 38 years.
Wow.
So I will share that. All right, this is called Sounds. Hang on. I hear sounds every night when I lay me down asleep. Stories turning in my head, enough to make me weep. And I just don't know what to do to make a difference where it counts. So I close my eyes at night, shut reality out. Sounds, I hear sounds. Escape would not come easy when running from attack. Children cover targets, families carried on their backs. Survival streaming through their blood, and a fire in their bones. They push themselves to the brink, risking everything they'd known. Sounds, I hear sounds. Sonidos, escucho sonidos.
Como se puede ser tan cruel, encarcelar y enjualar babies arrancados de sus madres? No hay mayor pecado. Los que encierran siguiendo órdenes son los que terminan ganando, donde vive el peligro nuevamente. How can people be so cruel as to cage another in? Babies torn from mothers, perhaps the greatest of all sins. And those who turn the key on orders to lock the doors are those who profit where the danger lives once more. Sounds, I hear sounds. Sonidos, escucho sonidos. Sounds, I hear sounds.
Thank you. Lynn, do I get to do another one or two?
As many as you want.
Okay, I'll just I have two planned, but that one wasn't planned.
That was great. As you can tolerate.
All right, so this is from, I do a lot of different, I write a lot of different genres, and this is from my, the blues side of me. It's called Shadows by My Side. Yeah, all right. When the weight of my world shifts on its side, oh, it leaves me to wonder the angle of right. I never know what's in store. I never know what's coming next. All I know is what I've seen between my life and the edge. So I'll cross whatever bridge comes, and I'll face that mighty wind, and I'll never ever know how many tomorrows will come to call me in. Our thin line cast shadows by my side. Our thin line cast shadows by my side. I'll fight against the darkness when my days feel like night, and I'll awake to find the morning. Oh, a new day by my side. So when my feet get much too weary, all I see is one steep climb, I'll remember
are places where I can lean to the other side. How a thin line casts shadows by my side. How a thin line casts shadows by my side.
So I've got one more to share here.
I like that one. Let's make sure.
All of these, I can't believe. Well, this next one is recorded, and it's on my Pass It On Down CD. You could just find me online if anyone wants at lindasusman.com. And I recorded this Pass It On Down CD back in January of 2019. It was released. And this next song, I have to say, is one of my favorites. It's called The Dancer, and I wrote it for a friend whose daughter is a dancer. And I recorded this just with guitar because I play with a group called Linda Sussman Collective. I do a lot solo and any number of musicians from the collective. And this one I recorded just with guitar and cello. So if you can imagine just long bows of cello along with this. Is the guitar? Hang on. There we go. Is that coming through?
Uh-huh.
So this is called The Dancer.
She was a dancer, turning out spins. She was a dancer, a life in crinolines. She'd play the Queen of Hearts, she'd play the Ace of Spades. She'd only lived for that big old stage. On pointed toe, a pas de deux. She'd color her world in some ageless scene. She'd play the lover scorned, she'd play the dying swan. She'd always land in another's arms. In her empty room, no curtain calls, her ribbons undone, hung up on her walls. She'd dream of home, her lover's silhouette, all hidden inside her pirouettes. She was a dancer, turning out spins. She was a dancer, a life in crinolines.
Thank you.
Great guitar playing. Great
Thank you.
singing. Wonderful.
Thank you very much. I mean, I could play all night, but I won't.
You've got a Judy Collins sound going there.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you so much, Linda. If you want to do one more, encore, we welcome it.
All right. Can I do a quiet or with some energy?
Let's go for energy. That sounds good.
All right.
Get us hyped up as we go.
Bit late.
All right. This is a song of mine called Layer Me Up. And the chorus is, if you want to sing along from where you are, the chorus is, layer me up, I fall to pieces, layer me up, I fall to you. All right. Oh, well, it's the last song. All right.
Layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. Layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. There are voices in the forest, there are voices singing true. They are filling all the brooks with, oh, diamonds, oh, and blues. Layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. Layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. In the early morning hours, in the rustling of leaves, you come knocking round my window just to bring this song to me. Oh, layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. Layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. So come on, meet me by the willows. Look my way and, oh, I am yours. Steal my heart from the hurt that runs 1,000 miles long. Oh, layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. Layer me up, I fall to pieces. Layer me up, I fall to you. Skipping stones on the water, skipping stories with every beat. Come reflecting all the mysteries of the heart and a defeat. I fall to pieces. Layer me up. I fall to you. Layer me up. I fall to pieces. Layer me up. I fall to you.
One more time.
Layer me up. I fall to pieces. Layer me up. I fall to you. Layer me up. I fall to pieces. Layer me up. I fall to you.
Woohoo! Very good. Lovely.
Thank you.
So wonderful, Linda. You and Emily Sue are a power couple. I mean it. Amazing having you both here in one place. Can't imagine it any other way. So thank you. Thank you to everyone, really. This was such a great event.
Awesome.
Everyone's fabulous. Oh my God. A wonderful night.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah, so many
Yes,
people.
it was.
Yeah, this is exactly what we want to do is keep sharing poets' voices. So follow us. If you want to email me, you join our email list. Do that too. And check out Linda's website. We posted it a few times in the chat there. And thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
I hope to see you all again very
Okay,
soon.
definitely.
A week from today.
Okay.
All right. Have a great weekend. Have fun.